Heggie, President, Mary Olsen, Senior Officer, and Debra Bader, Senior Officer, who's also part of our local body.
Everybody, welcome to Vancouver. Who's happy to be here? I know I'm happy to be here, and today we're gonna give you some rapid fire tips on drop talks and just how to have a successful drop talk. And what's cool is when we were putting together our presentation, you know, we're gonna each touch on some different things, different styles of drop talks, but at the end of the day, the message is the same. And we're sharing Partner Co with people, and we wanna share our story and weave what's incredible about Partner Co into that. And so drop talks come in all shapes and sizes. We're gonna share a little bit about them with you today. So I'm just gonna get right into it and pass it over, and we'll get right into it.
Get right into it. So the invite. So your upline calls you up and says, hey, let's have a drop talk in your town. And you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Where do I have it? What if nobody shows up? You guys, it's okay. We've all had those thoughts. Don't worry about it. Keep it simple. It's not about perfection. It's about repetition. Just keep going. Make your list. Start inviting. And when you do the invite, make sure that you're using voice message. Make sure you're picking up the phone. Those are 1,000% effective as opposed to sending a message and saying, hey, do you want to come to a drop talk? I mean, Debra, do you want to come to a drop talk? I'm having one on Friday. You know, it's not really that effective. Billie, we're having a drop talk on Saturday. Let's grab a coffee. Let's go for lunch. Let's go to this drop talk.
Coffee, lunch, I'm in.
Yes. It's just that simple, you guys. And pick them up. Make the whole invite exciting for them. And then displays, you guys, keep it simple. Don't overwhelm them with a whole bunch of products on the table. People are gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to buy everything? I can't afford this. Keep it simple. We've got our flagship product, our drops. That's what they're coming to see. That's what they wanna know about. Front and center with the drop talks. Nice, clean, black tablecloth. Just keep it simple. We do sample packs too when we have customers coming to see a drop talk. We make a nice little sample pack. We give them a sample and they say, this noni tastes really good. Let's grab some. So, I mean, those sample packs can be really effective. So when you're doing a presentation, I mean, when I got started, I spent a whole bunch of time going to all these different Zooms. Todd Rowland's Zoom, Reese had a Zoom, Bob had a Zoom, Joni and Chris had Zooms. I went to every Zoom that I possibly could so I could learn and learn and learn. I got on the IPA calls, I learned, and that's how you start. You just start going to all of them and duplicating. This is our business, right? Duplication. It can be scary, but we're all human, you know. When you go to a drop talk and you think, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. I'm not perfect. What if I screw up? You guys are all human, and they love that, right? And so when you're at the drop talk, make sure that you scan the room. Make sure that you're getting your other brand partners, crossline, sideline, upline, downline. Make sure they're standing up and giving their story. Everybody's story is different, right? So don't overthink it. Keep it simple. A room and have room to change in life. You just need to show up. Every big leader started with a small awkward, I hope someone shows up moment, right? Like you start a drop talk and you're like, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna show up. But that's okay. You have to start somewhere. Momentum doesn't come from thinking about it, it comes from doing it. So set those dates and open your doors.
I underclicked Mary's slides. I apologize. I just want to say something though. I was thinking while she was talking about the very first drop talk that I went to. I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and that was the very best meeting I've ever been to. And I remember like Christy, Mary, Lucy, Katie, Michelle McKay was there. And I want to just comment, because we have the time, too, about why that was, what was so incredible. When I saw the people popping up around the room sharing their story, that was incredible. Because I saw there was a lady who was in her 80s who stood up and shared her story. There was people of I remember Brenda sharing her story, who shared last night. And so for me, that was very powerful, because sometimes you might not see yourself in Billie, Mary, or Debra, but you might see yourself in Christy, or Betty, or Bob, or Lynn, or Reese, or whoever. And so don't hesitate to involve those people in the room. And if you are there, if you are ever going to, I know we have a series of them happening in Alberta next week, offer a hand. Where can you lend a hand, and where can you share your testimony? Because people need to hear your story too, and it matters. And when we involve people in the meetings, that for me was, if I was sitting there thinking, am I going to use these drops, I would be going home to use the drops. If I was sitting there thinking, I don't know if these drops are going to work for me, I would go home believing those drops are going to work for me. And then at the end of the day, I'd be going home thinking, I'm going to do this business, because if these people can do it, so can I. So it's really important to remember. So.
Weight loss story or a health win, all the stories matter. You're going to connect with somebody that relates to your story. So tell your stories.
Yeah, and like she said, having those samples or those little things, it doesn't have to be a lot, but have a little something to send people home with. Just a little something, whether it's an elite or a little noni pack or whatever, because people are excited and they go home and they want to see and learn more about what we have. So
we all have water bottles at our drop tops, and you know what? We've got those little Max 2.0 packages. Tie one of those to your water bottle and hand them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just get creative and use what you have. If you're like, I don't have any noni packs, well, give them an elite or a renew or something to send them home with. Another great tip is that I have used in the past. If I have people that are in the area where there's going to be a drop top, I said, listen, I'll give you a little deal on this box if you come and get it from me in person. And go with boxes for your guests to send your guests home with. So last one I went, when Bob was presenting in Calgary, I had a friend come and she left with 2 boxes, one for her, one for her husband. So when you have them, you strike while the iron's hot, right? So anyways.
To my one slide, so you don't have to worry about clicking more than Here we go. So I keep it simple, guys. It's really, and for me, that's what it is. It's about keeping it simple. And for a in-home event, I think it's the beginning, actually, and the end that is the most important. When you're presenting in the middle, that's sandwiched in the middle. So in the beginning, you got to think about, first of all, who's been to an in-home event? Right, we all have. And who doesn't want to go to any more in-home events? But you guys, the system of growth that we have, we need to add on to that, right? And so the in-home events really work because you're getting to know people, you're connected with them, right? And they're getting to know you, and so you can really impact the power of one, right? So whether you even have one person at your in-home event or you have 10 people there, it's the power of one, because one becomes 2 and 2 becomes 4, and it duplicates, and then next thing you know, you have a team, right? And so in the beginning, I want everyone to really think about, go through their memory jogger. Has anyone seen those memory joggers? Right? So a lot of times we think about, who do we know, who have we not shared these drops with? And we think, oh my gosh, we've shared them with everyone. There's no one else to share them with. But there is. If you go through that memory jogger and you start thinking about your family, who did you know in school, who did you go to college with, who's your kids' parents, and next thing you know, you've got a list through it. So the big thing is not to be tied to the outcome in both the beginning and the end. You want to invite without any expectation, but they're gonna buy into you. They're not buying the product right off the bat. They're not buying the event right off the bat. They're coming to support you, right? And so they're gonna go because of your energy. So the invite is really the big part, and not to be tied to that outcome. And then just get to know your people. If you're hosting it and the person's coming to talk, you want to ask your host, who are your people? So you have a relationship already before you even get there. You start knowing who your audience is and you're able to connect with them. I'm going to get my dry mouth as I always get. So then the next thing, as you're going through the invite, then you need to make sure you have all of the equipment that you need, because my good friend Leanne over there, we started just saying yes, you guys. Instead of going and figuring it all out in the beginning, we started going, you know what, we're just going to say yes. Let's just do it, and let's just run with it, and let's do it scared. And so make sure that you have all the things you find out from your host. Do they have a smart TV? How are you going to do your presentation? And also cater your presentation to the person that is actually doing their in-home event. You want them to actually have their story, their elevator pitch, right? And be able to get them up there at the beginning, and they can tell their story so that people feel connected to them, right? And so at the actual event, you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to have a whole pile of, like, feed them, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes people have a theme for it, and that's can be kind of fun. But you don't have to do that. You just want to keep it nice and simple. And then when you get there, you want to greet people. The host gets up, starts with their story, invites the person that's going to speak, and then you got to be real. You got to be authentic, and you got to, sometimes we do the 20 minutes and 30-minute things. In home, sometimes it's longer than that, and that's okay, because you want to get to know each and every person there. And so I always say, who has questions right in the beginning versus just getting up and presenting, right? Should have brought some up. Yeah, please grab me some.
I'll get you some.
All right. Sorry, guys. Always happens, my dry mouth. And then I can't even talk. So just be real when you get there. You can have the products there. Thank you so much. But make sure you've only got the products that you're going to focus on. And we want to have our flagship product. And then just have a few. Don't have a whole pile of them because you overwhelm. And I did that. And it's okay to fail, you guys. Fail your way to winning. Actually, that one. Thanks, Billie. Too slow.
Water, my dear.
Fail your way to success, right? Just say yes, get up there and fail your way to success. And so you only learn, I always tell my kids, what do you learn the best by? Do you learn by doing everything right? No, you learn by doing things, making mistakes, and you fail your way to success. So I always say to people, go for the no's. How many no's? I say to my team, how many no's can you get? Let's go for all the no's, because eventually you're gonna get a yes, right? And then the end, once you're finished with all your in-home event, your presentation, you've asked them, answered questions, sit and talk with your people. Again, it's about a relationship. People are buying you. They also want to be told, one of the things I've learned, I think it was Carmen Broad, actually, wherever you are, you were saying this, about how people actually want to be not told what to do, but they're looking for a solution, right? So if you give them direction, they will listen. You don't want to go up there with like low energy and go, well, maybe, you might want to try these. They might work. I don't know. You want to have that belief, and that belief comes across to people, that energy comes across to people. And then they're buying you again, right? And so at the end, all you have to do is thank everyone. I actually have sometimes the host say, you know what, it's kind of a fear of missing out, if you will. But when someone decides right there and then that they're going to join, you want to be excited about it. And you want to say it out loud in the room. Oh my gosh, Debra just decided that she's joining us. Yoo-hoo! And you know what? Next thing you know, someone's saying, what is she doing? What is she doing? What can you tell me more about that, right? And then you've got a whole room that's excited, and it's that energy that goes through. And then the last thing that really, again, the beginning and the end is where it's important, is the follow up. So make sure that you follow up within 24 to 48 hours with people and stick with them. Don't try to get them, but know that you're trying to find a solution for them, and we have what is available to help them in so many, many ways. And that is it.
Woo! Awesome.
that I just want to think or want to comment on is sometimes you get disappointed about that one guest that you really wanted to come to a drop talk and come to your event, right? And how many of you have ever had that happen to you? But meanwhile, you might have a whole other row or a couple other people that did show up. And so just remember that even this conference, even today in this room, you have people, if you have any size of a team, you have people you wish were here. And remember, it's not about who isn't in the room, it's about who is. And remember that with your drop talk, your Zoom, your team calls, whatever, your job is to communicate and build relationship with the people that are there. So just remember that. And remember too, the other thing that I was thinking about, going back to that first meeting that I went to, you guys, how many of you thought, well, I don't live in Alberta, I'm not inviting anybody to those meetings, right? Well, that's the biggest lie you told yourself today. And because guess what? People in this room are going to be at those meetings. When I went to that meeting in Lethbridge, I didn't know Christy and Mary. I didn't know anybody there. But guess what? Michelle McKay, wherever Michelle McKay is, Michelle McKay spent time visiting with me after the meeting. And you guys, she didn't know I was going to be there either. But we got visiting, and she just took the time and visited with me. And that meant the world to me. And so I want you to know that no matter where you want to send somebody to a meeting, somebody there will take them in. You know, if you're sending someone, don't feel like you have to be in the room, is the point.
Right.
Don't feel like you have to be in the room. Somebody, one of us from Partner Co will take your guest in, say hello, let them feel welcome, and take them in.
There's a little feature on your Facebook, you guys. It's a little button at the bottom, and it's got friends. If you click on that button, you can actually sort your friends from newest to oldest. If you sort from oldest to newest, you can reconnect with those friends. And to piggyback on what Billie was saying, go at the top and say, friends in Medicine Hat, friends in Lethbridge. Chances are you might know somebody there that you haven't connected with in a while. And then just connect with them, and we will take care of them for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have, can you say that one more time, just for everybody? So you go, tell them where to go. Mary's really good at Facebook. Can you tell them where to go? And let's tell them how to find their friends, starting in Edmonton, Red Deer, Medicine Hat, and Lethbridge. Can you tell them?
Yeah, so just at the very top, if you go to your Facebook page, there's a little search bar. If you click on that search bar and type in friends in Lethbridge or Calgary, and it's gonna bring up all your friends in that area, and then you can just connect with them, start a conversation with them, and invite them. And so when you're inviting them, if you, like Debra said, don't have that low energy, have that excitement. If you have to run around the kitchen a couple of times and then get on a voice message to them or on the phone to show your excitement, do it. It works, doesn't it, Christy?
Oh yeah. It's really all about belief, right? And so if we don't believe in what we're sharing with people, it's going to come across. You have to have that belief and be able to transfer that over to people.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to just talk about some virtual drop talks and some things that have worked really well for us on our team. And this is, I have to tell you, this is coming from, like, I am the person who can take a 30-second story and turn it into a 30-minute one. So Reese is pointing at, he's throwing himself under the bus too. We're like, it's the same. And so my friend Ann, my sponsor, my enroller, we worked really hard at our virtual drop talks because they were like 45 minutes, like they were too long, and really people want to get in and out on those virtual drop talks. We really have people, we want to capture their attention quickly and be very effective because they might be, standing there cooking dinner for their family while they're listening in or whatnot, right? So just keep it short and keep it simple, and just remember that less when it comes to a virtual drop talk. I feel like a virtual drop talk, a Zoom or whatnot, is your first exposure. That's what's going to get people to want to maybe go to that in-person event wherever it is. And so keep it short, simple, and just remember the confused mind says no. So less is really more. If you think you're talking too much, you probably are. I remember saying to Anne, I was like, we're talking too much. We need less, right? We need to talk a little bit less. And so, more words do not always create more clarity. And avoid over-explaining. Don't read the slides word for word. If you're putting up a product slide and you read it word for word, you undermine people's intelligence. And so, keep that in mind. Your slides should support you, not replace you. And if you are newer and you're like, I need the slides, use the slides by all means. But as you work on growing your skill and whatnot, try not to use your slides as much. Try to let them be a complement to whatever it is you're sharing. Because I feel like, you know what people do on Zooms? They screenshot. Tell people, take a screenshot of this slide so you can come back to it later. Tell people, jot notes down. One of the things that I love about PartnerCo is the Bill of Rights. I don't have time to go into it, but everybody write down Bill of Rights on your notebook. Learn more about it. So tell people, use things like that where it's like a small call to action that people can then use to, that they can use to look things up later or ask the person who invited them for that information later. Leave your story in. Don't spend so much time at the start sharing it because you're not as interesting as you think you are. I'm not as interesting as I think I am, right? People don't want to, they don't want to listen to all of that. You might lose them. So do your best to take those pieces of your story and be like, where can I touch on this throughout my drop talk? Where can I touch on this throughout what I'm sharing with everybody? So just remember to weave your story in and try and use it to support the point that you're making in your drop talk. So, was that good? Did it click on me? Did it go? Yeah, be consistent. So here's another thing. If you are all over the map if you're constantly changing your slides and your presentation and whatnot, your team will stop inviting people to your drop talks. Be consistent. I know exactly if I send somebody to one of Christy or Mary's drop talk, I know exactly what they're going to say. I know what that drop talk is going to entail. I know if I send someone to Risha's, I know they're going to get a more in-depth view of things, of different products that I know that she loves. So when you are consistent, people will have confidence in inviting people to that event. And so on the other hand, I would say watch lots of drop talks. Your job is to tune in to lots of drop talks. Find that person that resonates with you, but also listen to different stories. So as you have a different prospect, that you can be like, oh, I know she's going to relate so much to Bob and Lynn. To Bob. I know she's going to relate so much to Christy, to Carmen, to whomever. And so watch lots of drop talks, and then like we were saying earlier too, you learn from every single one. You learn from watching it over and over and hearing those things repeated.
I even say them in the car when I'm driving somewhere.
Yeah, like play them. Put them on you're out walking. Play them when you're out walking and learn. More is caught than taught, and you will catch things and pick up on things as you go along. So here's something that we do this is a tangible tip that we use on our team to really jam a lot of punch into a 20-minute drop talk. So we use the chat. So on our team, we all know we jump on. If we can jump on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday nights, we jump on and we blow up the chat. I lost. Everybody gets in there and starts sharing their before and afters. And then we tell people, like, check out the chat. Look at what everybody's sharing in the chat. It's a way for you to jam more testimonials, more proof into a small amount of time where your prospects, the people on that call, can see that and they're like, wow, holy cow, okay, right? And so we use the chat. So we do that for when we start talking about the drops. So we call people, we're like, if you're on this call tonight and you've got a story to share, we would love for you to put it in the chat for everybody to see. If you got a picture, pop it in there. We invite people, and people get in there, because what also does, it's like a little mini SOG. Some people lost weight, some people are sleeping better, some people went off their blood pressure meds. Whatever it is that person's, we don't go on there and make a whole bunch of medical claims, but testimonials don't lie, right? Our business is built on our testimonials here in PartnerCo. So, and then we do the same thing when we start talking about the system of growth and the packs. So then what we'll do is we'll start talking about the packs, and we go over the packs very simply, but then we start saying, if you're here in the business, tell us what you did and tell us what you wish you would have done. everybody gets in there and says, I wish I would have done a 30-pack. I had no idea I was going to sell so many drops so quickly. And so that they do the sales, the enrollments, the proof happens in the chat. So don't forget about that part. I think it's kind of overlooked, and what we've really tried to do is start using the chat to, you know, and whoever's there on the call that night to be our friend, and it's a way to get a lot of information into a short amount of time. So, and then one thing we do that, this is something that, there we go. And this is something I would say only do if you feel really confident, or if you have somebody on your call with you that can answer maybe higher level questions about the products or whatnot. But we stop the recording and we let people know, listen, if you want to stay on after, if you've got a burning question, we're going to stay on here and answer any and all questions that you have. Just like Debra said, like, take your time, get to know people. We'll have new people maybe pop on and share their experience. And it's off the record, right? And people can share whatever, you know. In about 2 weeks now, we're gonna have a lot of people pooping better. Right? So, I mean, let's tell us in the chat what's been going on, right?
No pictures though, please.
Right? We will not take pictures, but we'd love to know. Are you pooping better, right? Tell us in the chat. So, but then we can get on after after we stop the recording and just share, like, and have someone there, you know, if you have somebody there on your team that can help answer those questions. And if you don't know the answer, don't pretend like you do. Just say, you know what, I don't actually know the answer to that, but if you want to drop me a text, I'll find out the answer and get back with you. So those are some things that have been really working well for us on our team, and that we've really worked at utilizing. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to the virtual, you know, less is really more. And our goal is to plant a seed strong enough that it's going to turn into someone jumping on a three-way call, going to an in-home event of some kind. So, did you guys learn something here today? Okay, awesome. So now, hopefully you feel equipped that you can, invite some people, to invite lots of people, right? To whether they're, no matter the type of drop talk, just know that I think what is so incredible about PartnerCo is that I could send my friend to Debra's drop talk, or to Bob's, or Christie's, or whomever. I could send a friend to a drop talk and I know they would be taken care of. And that is really the most powerful, you know, Javier, if you start saying Raymond, Alberta, Raymond, Alberta, Raymond, Alberta, and people can come to my drop talks, okay? We'll take them in. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.